Here, I'd like to welcome you all to the expert learning session for EcoStruxure Power. I'm going to go through a short introduction to set the stage, build some context, and then we're going to jump into the panel discussion with our great panelists up here. One comment I want to make is I want this to be interactive. I don't want us to be talking to you, right? So if you have any comments, any questions, please just raise your hand. We have a floating microphone around here. Well, somewhere, there's a microphone. You'll get it, you'll ask your questions. So please participate. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about are the trends that are creating the challenges and opportunities around this topic. And the first one is around urbanization. And truly this is I'd say the largest migration of people in history, honestly. In China, 60% of the population in 2017 is now urbanized. In 1990, it was 26%. So think of the scale here, right? Incredible. By 2020, I think 2/3 of Indonesians will be urbanized. It's incredible, okay? Big impact on how we do things. The second big topic is this idea of resilience. And there's different types of resilience. We hear a lot of news on cyber attacks. There's that type of resilience. Of course, adapting to climate change is a major concern. So I'm thinking of technologies like microgrids that help secure our supply, bring predictability. But this idea of resilience, I think, is very important today and will become even more important into the future. And the third big trend that I want to highlight is just idea of expectation. I think as people, we expect power availability at 100%. This idea that some people need power at 100% and others don't care, I think that's not true. Even in my personal life, my family expects the Wi-Fi to work 100%, right? This is the new expectation. The digital economy does not function correctly without constant, perfect power. And this means we have to design and operate differently, right? So how do we respond to these trends, to these challenges, to these opportunities? Well, there's really two areas that I want to touch on. One area is around how we do our design build. And there's really two parts to that. One is the process of how we do design and build. Traditionally, it's been very linear, very siloed, and maybe for the traditional infrastructure that delivered acceptable results. But for digital systems, digital infrastructure, future infrastructure, it doesn't work. You really need more of a upfront, collaborative type process where you get the key stakeholders into the room right away. The person that is the end user, we call them, the person doing the design, the contractor, the technology system specialist. They need to talk right away, because this is critical for minimizing the capital expenditure and the risk. So from a construction perspective, there's always an issue of risk, time risk, cost risk, technical risk. So you need to talk up front. We need to change how we do the process. We'll be way more productive. And productivity in the construction industry is an absolute must to change. Productivity is terrible versus other industries. It's terrible. A lot of money, horrible productivity. The other one is the tools we use, getting better at using the digital tools in the process. From the people that do the design work, the architects, the technical design work, who build the panels, because we're in the electrical industry, who do the integration on site of all the systems. There's all these tools that need to be improved and integrated. On the other side, we're looking at operations. How do we operate better? There's some good opportunities here in terms of making people much more productive. This is really the focus, because if we can take people, a small group of people, and allow them to think about, I would say, strategic topics versus firefighting constantly, they will be able to deliver a much better service to their customers. Better power availability, lower energy costs. These sort of topics are important, but they're not urgent. And what happens is when you're doing a traditional sort of maintenance approach, you are responding, you are reacting, you are getting yelled at, and you're short-staffed, right? You're short-staffed. This is the reality today. You have one person on site, maybe two persons on site. That's it. So the only way to make this work, the only way, is you have to introduce digital processes and technologies into their daily life. This is the only way. So two key topics I want to bring up here. One is the future really is about green buildings, particularly in Asia Pacific. Recently I was looking at the top 10 global cities for green buildings, and maybe not surprising, but 5 of them are in Asia Pacific. Half of them, right? Singapore is one of them. We're here in Singapore today, right? So this is not a niche anymore. This isn't a nice to have, oh, maybe I'll do it as a premium building. This is the normal. Even in India, which is a very big market, a very complex market, by 2030 they expect all new construction, 20% of all new construction to be green. And I was reading in Singapore that I think by 2030, 80% of all buildings will be green. I mean, that's incredible, even the existing stock. So this is not a new thing. This is not a niche. This is the future. And we need to do this now, right? The other one is around cybersecurity, and I know this topic can deliver some, it can be scary for people, right? But it's really not scary. It's really quite simple in many ways. And the key here is all about standards and trusting the standards and understanding the standards. Because if you want to have a secure enterprise, you really need to make sure that whoever you're working with from a technology perspective is delivering technical systems that hit on these standards. And there's 2 key standards that, at least for Schneider, that we follow. There's one that exists inside the facility. We call that on-premise for the control systems, the monitoring systems. And that standard is an IEC standard, 62443. It's actually a set of standards, but we're following this, and we believe very strongly in it. The other one is for all the cloud infrastructure. And I know in my own experience, sometimes that raises the biggest questions. Ironically, I truly believe it's the most secure infrastructure, at least the way that we've done it. But there are some standards around here as well, and you really need to make sure that whoever you're working with is first of all, using a very good cloud provider. So for example, we partner with Microsoft Azure. I mean, that's the best in terms of security for businesses. But also there is a standard called the IEC 27000, and it details how you secure this infrastructure. So now I want to introduce EcoStruxure Power itself, because we created this in a response to these trends, to these opportunities, to these challenges. And the whole idea with this architecture, with this system, is that we're going to help improve the productivity on the design and construction side, which, like I said, is sorely needed, and also accelerate the next generation of how you operate. And we do this by focusing in a few areas here. So on the design build side, like I said, for us it's about process. We bring to the table people with a huge amount of experience, breadth and depth. You know, if you play sports, we talk about bench strength, right? And it's critical. The people are critical. And it's the process, I mentioned that earlier, how you engage with people, how you work collaboratively, how you do that up front during the design so that the risks are minimized. Very, very critical. And then I mentioned the tools, and we are investing in this area, but these digital tools, once again, will bring productivity in this sector. And then on the operate side and the maintain side, there's really 3 areas that we spend most of our time. One is around the idea, of course, of making the infrastructure safer. I mean, that's a basic that we need to deliver on. We have some technologies around that. If you've been to the Power Domain booth, we have this new breaker, the MTZ. It's got the ability to reclose with Bluetooth. Bluetooth is secured, by the way. Don't get any concerns on that. It's secured. It's only about 30 feet anyway. You can't do it outside the facility. But it allows you to kind of stand back and close, right? And that's nice. I mean, it makes people feel good. We also have some new switch gear, medium voltage switch gear, that's actually touch safe. And I'm not going to encourage you to touch the bus bar in our switch gear. But technically it is touch safe, which is revolutionary. So we have some safer technologies. The other side is on this reliability, and we focus in two areas. One is trying to minimize the chances of an outage, an unplanned outage, which is obviously important. But the other one is if there is an outage, because they occur, that's the reality, they do occur, how can you respond as quick as possible? Minimize that downtime, right? And we deliver technologies in that. And the last one is efficiency, and there's 2 areas that we focus on. One is around energy efficiency. This has been a strong Schneider focus for many years. And the new one, I would say, is around people productivity. How do we make the existing people more productive? How do we make it easier for them to use the technology without extensive experience and training? Which is, I think, very, very critical. And we deliver on this using our comprehensive technology framework. We call it the technology stack. And what's key about here is that it's built from the perspective of the system, an integrated system, plug and play, secured, still open. We need to deal with, obviously, other vendors. That's just the reality that we're in. But also flexible, because you don't need everything. You want to be flexible. But this is how we deliver on these promises. And we have a lot of different types of offers in here. And after this, of course, I will encourage you to go visit our Power Domain booth, which is right over here, and to learn more about it. We have our experts in-house to learn about it. And for 2018, I just want to do a quick highlight on a couple key new offers we have, which once again, they're highlighted in the booth. We have some advisor offers, Asset Advisor and Power Advisor. I won't go into the details here. I encourage you to go to the booth. And the other ones are what we call the connected products, our Master Pack MTZ, our new medium voltage relay, the Easer GP3, and one of our advanced, the most advanced actually in the world, power quality meter called the i9000. So that ends my intro. I want to jump into the panel. I'm going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves. I'm going to go left to right, so I'll start with Darren. Yes, there we go, Darren.
Hi everyone, my name is Darren. I'm from Bolloré Logistics. I lead the facilities team to introduce innovative solutions and implement practical procedures to tackle building maintenance and facilities issues. Specialized in business process re-engineering and change management. I develop methodologies to tackle building operation requirements and to achieve efficiency and balance among manpower and technologies.
Great, thank you, Darren. Next is YJ.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is YJ. I'm working for Schneider system integrator partner with master level. So the sector is critical power, delivering safer and high quality power consumption to the customer. I'm the SCADA and automation expert. So that's it. Okay. Once again, nice to meeting you.
Thanks, YJ. Francis.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis. I work in the Green Mark Department of the Building and Construction Authority in Singapore. For those of you who are new or visiting Singapore, Green Mark is the equivalent of something like LEED or the BREEAM. It's a green building rating system that is specifically designed for the tropics. So I look after its continuous development, and I specialize in the area of smart technologies and facility management.
Great, thank you, Francis. And Kyung?
Hi, I'm Eng Kyung. I'm in a consultancy business, building services. We are tied with the architects and structural engineers. We provide services not only in Singapore, but we are very much in China, Shanghai, Beijing, Chengdu, in Malaysia too, and in Vietnam. Although we don't have offices all over the world, but these are the places we have entrenched ourselves. And also we have done work in India, in Middle East, in Philippines, and also Thailand. I hope that you will have a good session this afternoon, and I'll pass the mic over to our convener.
Thank you very much. So actually, Francis, you're the first panelist I'm going to ask a question of. So what industry trends or challenges require the use of digital electrical systems or digital infrastructure in buildings?
I think the advance of digital technology into the building is something that has been forthcoming. Not only is it relevant to green building, but also for the fact that today we need a better integrated design and delivery to the point of maintenance. So when we talk about digital technology in power for building, I think we have to look beyond that and see that what we really need is a pervasive digital infrastructure within the building, within the whole building, so that you can effectively manage not just energy, but also so that the building continue to be responsive to its occupants and to everyone who is maintaining the assets. There's only so much that we can do as far as equipment efficiency is concerned. So we at Greenmark feels that the only way that we can actually squeeze more out of our equipment asset today is through data and digitization. And this is why we've been encouraging our industry to actually pay more attention to this area, because this is where you are going to get your next return, okay, in terms of investment.
Great, thank you. YJ, I wanted to ask you the same question. You work with a lot of customers in Korea.
Yes.
And so I was wondering, when you work with them, how do you see them benefiting from these digital technologies? How do they make use of them?
Because, let's say IoT and digitization means the customer can see more access to the meaningful information, getting through their power substations, the BMS and lighting control. Something cannot be carried out 10 years ago. But our customer, in Korea, their demanding is getting higher so that they can see everything is visualized. And they want to see, more information from informations. So this is a trend in Korean market.
More than in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Because the reason is, even our customer is getting, educated, and what is the EMS energy saving, the concept very clearly. So they asking us what is the solution of the solution. Also mentioning about the cost-effective way.
Yes, of course. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to comment on this topic? Any questions for the panelists at this time? No? Actually, Darren, I wanted to ask you this as well, because I know Belors has installed quite an advanced digital system for the infrastructure for, I think, your warehousing?
Green Hub and Blue.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you're using these, because you're using them directly, these technologies.
Yes. In fact, we are partnering with Schneider Electric to upgrade our power meter for the Green Hub, and it's at the completion stage. It's going to be commissioned very soon. There are a lot of complex challenges along the way. We have go through many revisions just to get to achieve the outcome that we wanted initially with Schneider Electric. The reports generated, the self-management reports generated, we do analysis on the reports and to identify areas where energy conservation can be saved. Then we implement plans and to tackle these energy wastages through the self-management reports.
And to do that, I guess efficiently, you need the data. You need to have knowledge of what's going on everywhere, I assume.
Yes, the data collected are generated into a self-management report, and we analyze the report and identify areas where we can reduce energy wastages or implement green initiatives.
Got it. I want to actually touch. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it reminding one thing. Let me take an example. Sorry for that. For our customer, let's say the petrochemical. Nowadays they are concerned about combine many information together. The trend is heading to IC 61850 for the particularly the communication under Ethernet environment, and also want to see the gas, steam, and those kind of energy information into that system. And also they want to see the temperature, and they want to see the ESS or green energy is go and coming out like that.
Oh, okay.
So I think the trend is really, it's
Okay.
really getting digitized from the past. It's really changing nowadays.
I got it.
Yeah.
Got it. You mentioned something, Darren, that I maybe want to touch on. So moving to digital is, in my mind, an inevitability. Like it's happening. It is happening. It's going to continue to happen. But I think realistically, we have to be aware that there are challenges. It's not so easy to necessarily design these systems or think of these systems. I mean, it's new for a lot of people. And even though there is work up front to do this correctly, I mean, the end result is better, and you do get better overall cost optimization. But maybe you can talk on some of the challenges. So,
excuse me. The existing infrastructure of the building, which the electrical system distribution system is based on, or is planned 20 years before, is there. And in order for us to upgrade the system, we have to make a lot of changes to the distribution boards, the DBs, the MCBs, and in fact, a lot of cablings need to be done, cabling rewiring works, because over the years, changes takes place, and certain areas are retrofitted to suit certain needs. And this the monitoring of the power system is not taken care of. So we have to do a lot of recabling works and a lot of building partition works, so on and so forth, to achieve the outcome that we want.
and in the end, were you expecting these challenges, or was it a surprise to you?
In fact, during the initial stage, we already expected the challenges. We have already planned for it.
Okay. So it helped kind of alleviate that. Great. So I'm going to move on to my next question, unless there's any comments from the audience, any follow-up questions? Great. So this is actually for Enkyung. I want to talk a little bit, because you're involved in the design of electrical mechanical systems, right?
Yes, sir.
And I want to maybe touch on from the perspective of your work, how you design these systems. How does digital affect you, and how will it affect you in terms of your tools, your processes, how you interact with clients? What is your perspective?
I think my view, my personal view, and I think of all my practices, so actually digital technology will serve as an enabler, not a disruptor in the industry.
Okay.
It will enable new business models to come up that has far-reaching results than just the normal things. The visible impact is how people can now work in a collaborative manner, social, mobile, cloud, and BIM allow our architects, engineers, surveyors, and other disciplines to be involved in the project, to work with from one set of drawings. I think that is...
Yeah, that's nice.
In the past, everyone waits for
Yeah.
the other party to finish his work before he takes over. But now they can all embark on one set, one design. It is more the use of technology to improve operational efficiencies. I think rather it is about creating the environment for employees to gain the knowledge and skills, to innovate and build the capabilities to deliver specific customer value, which leads to a better shareholder value.
Do you find that the design work that your team does is better because of these technologies, the collaboration you talked about, the single drawing, which is nice?
I think this is the way forward. Now that even in Singapore, the population is aging.
Yeah, okay.
We have less people to work on a single project, less manpower, and we need to find new ways of doing that. We don't use manpower. We don't need to wait for things to happen.
So productivity is absolutely critical.
Yeah. You know, I like to quote one which is not in our industry. Singapore has lots of vehicles, cars on the road. Parking along the roads are a chore. And after that, you have people to check whether you left your coupon. We have what we call coupon parking.
Okay.
That when you park your car, you tear a coupon that says that how long you are going to park there. And there's inspectors that come around to check whether you have exceeded your time. So the most innovative manner that's taken over is what we call a parking app. The parking app is on your handphone. All you need is to key in the time that you are going to park there. And it identifies by GPS, it identifies which area you are at, which car park you're in. And there the clock runs. And you can go around your shopping and doing your business without worrying about when your time is up. When the time is up, there's a message sent to you that you have 5 minutes more. So without going to your car, you extend your parking again.
Do you find that this shift in how people work, the tools they use, does that require a lot of retraining? Are people receptive to this? Are they resistant? Like, what is the people side of this?
The people side is that the younger people, the younger staff would like to get onto this new platform.
Okay, so
But
they're ready.
the older one, of course, it takes more time for them to get onto it.
Yeah, okay. So you think it's a bit of a generational shift, or?
Yes. But anyway, there are more younger and younger people coming into the workforce, so it helps.
Okay, yeah, sure. Any other comments from the panelists, or anyone in the audience have any comments or questions? Oh, great. Where's the mobile? Oh, there it is. Excellent. Yep, it's working. Yep. This talk?
Yes.
OK，
Yeah, yeah.
我来自中国，就是Schneider 公司呢想推广那个EcoStruxure。这个中国的市场呢特别大，但是呢这个现在的使用呢还没有开始，就是说也可以说是很少。就Schneider公司有没有就这种计划和中国的某一些公司合作，就是以低的价格或公益的形式呢去推广这个产品？谢谢。
Okay. Now, this gentleman's question is, how is Schneider going to
Thank you.
promote or work in partnership with companies in China to promote their EcoStruxure systems? Like, how are they going to do that?
I can't comment on China specifically, but the way that I see it happening in the places I've been anyways, is we work very extensively with a partner network. I mean, we work with design consultancies, we work with contractors, we have panel builder partners, and we have our group of eco-experts. And these are specialized technology companies that can consult, they can design, they can do installation. YJ is leading one of them actually. And we have this particular designation called a critical power eco-expert, at least on the electrical side. So the key is to put together this network. Some of it's very formalized, like the eco-expert program, lots of training. Other times it's informal, and so we do that at a local level, at least in my experience. If we're doing it well, that's the idea. Because we can't do it by ourselves. I mean, EcoStruxure is not meant for Schneider to do all by itself everywhere. We can do that in some projects, maybe some bigger projects, maybe some focus, but we don't have the scale, right? I mean, it's a big transformation, so we need to work with everybody. Yeah.
So maybe I'm not the right person to answer you, but I understand the China market is really huge.
Yes.
And maybe
complex. Yeah.
EcoStruxure, the solution, may be tiny, maybe the meeting your demand. But actually, I'm pretty sure the China organization is really doing hard and pushing a lot their resources to make it real. So my recommendation is please find the right person in the Schneider China organization and getting the consultant.
Yes.
And they will get back to you right away.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
谢谢你。
Thank you, YJ. Any other comments? Any other questions? Oh.
Submitted question.
Oh, cool. Oh, great. Okay. All right. Questions from Romeo Lanz, is it? Of Nestle. Okay. How do you protect the existing investment on equipment? Yes. Automation and controls that are from other manufacturers, and we want to implement the digital solution of integration from Schneider. We do not want to reinvent the wheel. Can we use what we have? like Rockwell PLCs, other brands, and put them together. And actually it's a very, I don't know if this was planted or something, very well timed, because we talked about this before the panel discussion as a group, and maybe someone can take it. I mean, I could answer it myself, but maybe, you want to take it, YJ?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'll say something.
Okay, great, excellent.
I'll say something after you.
After you, no. I'm nothing than you.
Okay. For the many buildings that I have accessed, this is a very real problem.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
legacy systems.
Yes.
And you also have fundamentally working and workable systems, but that has not been very well documented, unfortunately. So to be able to enhance something like that is typically quite challenging. However, because there are external instrumentations that can be installed, and therefore, through a digital infrastructure that we have today, you will be able to cream a lot of data from those. And then those will then give you some indication as to where are the points for optimization. Now, such optimization may simply involve tweaking an existing controller without having to retrofit or do anything to those controllers. In some cases, it may point to the fact that it's about time to actually do a retrofit of the plant. Now, such data are very useful in the sense that it will give you the kind of financial justification to do such a retrofit. And then at the point of retrofit, then it opens up another opportunity to actually possibly displace a existing control system, or to find ways to actually augment it. So in general, there are no silver bullet solutions. However, if you're prepared to roll up your sleeves and prepared to delve into the nitty-gritties of what is actually happening in your plant, and be very clear about the outcome that you intend to achieve, then you will talk to a vendor like Schneider, which has the necessary breadth and depth to undertake such a work. They will be able to come up with fairly credible solutions.
I think you touched on maybe two really key points here. One is you really need to be very clear on the outcomes.
Yeah.
You don't start with the technology and go
Yeah.
forward. You start
Right.
with the business outcome, go backwards.
Right.
And then the details.
Yes.
The details are messy,
Yeah.
but they're critical.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. And Kyung?
I think in the industry today, I think things are moving are changing very fast. I think if you look at most of the archaic kind of systems that we put in years ago, every few years now, if you want to be in the leading edge of the industry, you need to change the systems. You need to modify the system. That's where changes comes in, improvements come in, and besides, you are running out of manpower, of staff to look after old systems.
Yes.
And the young people coming in, they would like to work with new systems that improves productivity. That's why we don't see that being a problem in the long run. If you look at any hotel, every hotel goes through 7 years, 7 to 8 years, they go through a major renovation, or else no one is going to move into the hotel anymore.
So it's a bit of maybe a mindset change.
Yes,
This idea of you need to actually keep up to date.
keep up to date. Yeah.
'Cause I know even in my own experience, it was a bit of a do and forget. Unfortunately. Did you want to say something?
No, they cover my answers.
No.
Back off.
I read your mind. Oh, it's okay. Thank you. Darren, any comments on that? Very good questions, by the way. Thank you very much. And I'm not sure who submitted this, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on that topic? I think this is a big topic, actually, because there's a huge install base, and it can be very, very messy, but it's a necessity, right? And sometimes you can do small stuff short term. Sometimes it's a bigger capital project you got to plan for. Once again, it's about the outcomes and the details. You really need to focus on this.
I can't emphasize this enough, because people can get very uptight about the system and the technology, but it is really the data that matters.
Yeah. Yep.
I have come across many BMS. Some are as old as 20 years, running on Windows 95, that sort of things. But almost inevitably, you will be able to export the data. So once you're able to export or schedule an export of data, then it's I would say not the ideal, but it's pretty much half the game is done. Because you could then write scripts to transform the data, import the data somewhere else, put it to the cloud, use advisor, to help you analyze the data. So the skill set that is really relevant is the ability to transform data, not so much that I need to have the latest technology in place in order to manage this data.
And just make a quick plug for Schneider maybe, but we do put a lot of effort into being open. I mean, we have this concept of supporting the protocols, doing the data sharing at the software level, the databases. I mean, we understand this is the reality. It is a installed base, and you're not going to rip out all the existing equipment like this. Maybe never, actually. And that's of course. We wouldn't do it either, of course. So, but we can help. We can help. Yes. So any further discussions on this point? Like I said, I think it's a pretty important point. It's we can get a lot of stalled projects or no projects because of it. It's easy to get stopped. Any other? If not, I'm going to move to my next question. I think it's also an important question, actually. I'm trying to think who to. I'm going to send it to you, Enkyung. So from your perspective of doing the design, doing the prescription, why don't we just put digital breakers everywhere or digital meters everywhere? Why can't we digitize everything just like this? Why not? For construction, new projects.
For new projects, it's no problem.
Okay.
But I think how do we bring to the old buildings?
Yes.
Now,
Sure.
at present, we have many old buildings as well as we built many new ones. So now we are pulling data from the new ones and the old buildings all together into a central control. And although earlier the discussion was that it's going to be difficult, but I think we don't find it that difficult because now that we have open systems and we have gone back to put in more sensors, more detectors, that we can bring them now all together in one location, which is what I believe Schneider is also doing.
Sure.
Bringing different people's systems into one consolidated one.
Okay. So from a construction perspective, you don't see any, maybe not technical barriers, but do you see any behavior or cost barriers to just putting digitization in every type of building? No matter how big it is, what it's doing, just digitize everything.
At the present stand is that prices are coming down.
Okay.
And it helps even the handphone that we have is getting cheaper and cheaper.
Sure.
I don't see that being a big problem going forward. I think technology is moving so fast forward and prices are coming down. And provided Donald Trump doesn't increase taxes on all imports.
Yes. Well, no politics here, but I understand. Any other comments on this mass adoption of digital infrastructure? Why we can't just do this right now? Right when we leave the room, why can't we do this for everything? Anyone on the panel want to comment on that? YJ? Darren?
I think we are running our time, but I just want to make sure that only my concern regarding digitization, the IoT, is we have more connections, the wireless, numberless, the unit you need to communicate. That means it seems like opening the door for unexpected, hot, cybersecurity, the hacking and issues. The reason why is maybe you can remember 2015, Ukrainian, the power plant was under cyber attack, and at the time, around more than 200,000 the customer getting suffer around several hours during that day. But if you're looking back to your current habit, is maybe you can just open up, just phishing the emails, or it could be some file, some the malware, something inside it, coded inside. So opening up, then starting from your mobile, it can be the large of the chaos onto your system. So I know we only have just a few minutes. So what I want to say is you can go to the Google and just do the search like Ukrainian power plant. Then you may get some white paper from US. So how we can minimize impact from that cybersecurity issues.
So you think that maybe the cybersecurity topic
Yeah.
maybe holds people back? Is that true? What do you guys think? Is this a topic that will hold back the adoption of digital technologies on the facility side, or is it not really a big issue?
Okay. But what I want to say is I think this is the matter of the time, the when.
The when. Okay.
So, but what I want to say also, the Schneider is, spending a lot of the money for the testing, the penetration test for the devices level and the firmware level and the software level. So we are something you can trust, rather than other competitors. This is my conclusion.
Very good conclusion.
Back to you.
Francis, you mentioned something interesting before we had the panel, and you were talking about cybersecurity and kind of your thoughts on actually using the newer technologies, the cloud technologies and stuff, and your opinion that it's actually sometimes maybe even safer. I mean, you want to maybe talk about that?
I think if you look at the crux of the matter, it could well be that having the data in the cloud is probably safer than the kind of infrastructure that you might have in your plant. I think many of us have seen Hollywood movies whereby how typically does a terrorist infiltrate a building. He goes through the fumbling security guards, he gets access to the BMS, and then he takes over the control of the lift and then and whatnot. Okay, and I think this is very real. I think a typical building, the wire that is probably most exposed to the public and accessible to the terrorists is probably the wire that link up all the BMS, all the building infrastructures. So in many ways, I think probably the cloud is a better bet than what you have today, and that it is really a matter of familiarity. And I think many other industries has overcome that mindset resistance and have gradually moved over. So I think it's a matter of time that the building industry does likewise.
And you have personal experience using these new technologies.
Yes, because when our department started a chiller remote monitoring project for our country, we started off with a cloud, and personally the experience was great. But unfortunately, for some governance reasons, I have to bring it in-house. But given a choice, I probably rely on the cloud more than anything else.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we only have 2 minutes left. So instead of trying to tackle another question, I wonder if we should get some more comments on this, or other questions, or just unrelated comments are fine as well. Anything from the audience to contribute to the discussion on digital technologies in our infrastructure, particularly our electrical distribution infrastructure, medium voltage, low voltage systems? No? No comments at all? Maybe I'll make a couple closing remarks then. I'm the moderator, so. So just maybe one comment on the cybersecurity. I think my fear is that historically, and it's similar to what you said, historically maybe it wasn't an issue and we're complacent. And we think that because we have a network that's maybe air-gapped, so an isolated network, that we're safe, so we don't worry about it. And I worry about this because actually that type of network can easily be attacked. You think about someone taking a USB stick to transfer data, they go to a computer outside the network, it's infected, they bring the USB back in, boom, you're done, it's there.
Yeah,
so
if you really, assure that your network is really separate from, internal or maybe extra network, then you can say that.
Yeah.
But there are another way you can get into maybe something outside of the network. I mean, maybe they can use VPN, getting through the another way, gateway, and another. I mean, trust me, there are lots of the way get into and penetrate their network. So, but you don't need to be scared. This is not a Hollywood movie. But what I want to say is, sometimes it happens because of human error.
Yes.
This is what I want to say.
And it's important then to take it as a real topic and to start doing something about it. don't be scared, you're right. That doesn't solve any problems, it creates panic. But do something, take some actions and think it through, especially when you're doing new systems. There's no excuse not to think about this. It's harder with retrofit.
4 seconds.
3 seconds, I think we're done. Well, thank you so much, everybody. It's been fantastic.